This Ryobi telescoping pole pump is going to be a game changer next time I have to pump out water from a flooded basement or some situation like that. I love the fact that it telescopes. I'm going to show you all about it. I'm going to show you what comes in the box, and we're going to test it out. So stay tuned. A few days ago, this entire intersection was covered with water. You couldn't even see the grass on the boulevards because the city sewer was backed up. Consequently, one of my rentals, very close by, had some flooding in the basement, and I didn't want it to ruin the furnace or the hot water heater, so I had to come up with an answer to get the water out of the basement. So let's check it out.
Okay, as far as the unboxing, it's very short, but it didn't quite go as expected. You'll see what I mean. All right, here's the first drop. And here's the second drop.
And whoa! Oh boy. The little batteries that I don't like. I don't like those batteries just for that, because there's no rubber on them. It's just hard plastic. Yep, it does feel a little bit like the plastic housing got a little damaged. Alright guys, let's talk about what you get in the package with this kit. Of course, you get the pump itself. Okay guys, this is the business end of the pump. This is where it's going to suck the water in. You can telescope it out by loosening these and just extending it where you want. Tightening that back up. Alright, so I'm going to put it back in so it's a little more compact. Alright, this is where the water comes out. This is where you'll put one of your adapters and the included hose, or like a garden hose, whatever. On this side, you have an on-off button and a timer button. Right there. Oh no, the little clip is missing. It actually came with a hook, but I just realized that it isn't here, so I'm gonna have to find it. But the hook that it came with, you'll see in footage where we're testing that it comes out and it hangs over, so you can hook it on something. But it's also reversible. It just comes off and you can just put it on the other side. So if you want the outlet to be facing this way or this way, it doesn't matter, you can do that. Here's where you put the battery in. Pull this little lever down, this wire comes off this little catch. You flip that up. There is a bit of a gasket in there, so that should be fairly water resistant. Here's my first issue with this thing. This crappy little P109 battery, it's only 2 amp hours, 36 watt hours. However, to be fair, I gotta admit that that's probably sufficient for like 90% of the jobs out there, as you'll see in our testing later. Oh yeah, it has this like lanyard here, and I guess you could put it around your wrist so you don't drop it into some deep hole. But I think what I'll probably use that for is maybe just to put it on a hook in the shed or something. Along with that crappy little battery, you get this crappy little charger. This is the P118B, and B really should stand for beta because this feels like a non-finished product. I mean, this thing, it charges slow. I don't like it. Go over to Tool Review Zone and ask Clint what he thinks. He's vocal about it. Alright, So next up you get this thing here, which is, they call their mud filter. The one that's on there, they call their debris filter. This holds it up a little bit higher than the other one. It has these little clips. These kind of go into the slot, and then when you want to pull it back off, you just squeeze these in and pull it off. And the other one goes in the exact same way. Here is one of your adapters. This is a barbed end. This end right here fits on the threads that are on the outlet on the pump. This is the one that goes into the threads that come off the pump, and then this barbed end goes on this short plastic corrugated hose they give you. That thing's only like 4 feet long. And then you get this one that you can put on those threads, and then it is a Y adapter that you can put 2 garden hoses on. And then of course you get some paperwork.
Okay, it took 5 minutes and 9 seconds to fill this thing up from the hose from City Water.
Alright, so the solution is this thing right here. This is the Ryobi 18 1 Plus stick pump. So it has this little hook right here, so you can hook it on the edge of something if you're going to empty out a bucket like this or some pit. It has this, comes with this hose, but you can hook up, it has adapters, you can hook up garden hoses. But anyway, I thought we would put a battery in this thing and go ahead and pump some water out and see if it actually pumps the water as quick as the Home Depot website and as Ryobi claims. I already have it set. You can change the length, so in case you have a pit that's deeper, you can actually telescope that out. But I have it set to about the right height for this bucket right now, so we're going to go ahead and put that in. And we're going to start a timer and see how long it takes for this water to pump out of this 32-gallon trash bucket. All right, here we go. We'll see how long it takes. Wow. It's going down pretty quick. That's pretty cool. It's almost gone, and we are at 1 minute and 8 seconds. Okay, so in this first test, I just wanted to see if this thing was going to actually be able to pump that 15 gallons a minute that they claim, and it did. You saw that I filled that 32-gallon bucket, so it was overflowing into the yard, right? So it did it in 1 minute and 48 seconds. In those 12 seconds that it had left, I'm really thinking it could have easily gotten another 2 gallons. So that would have been 34 gallons. So that means it easily would have gotten 17 gallons per minute. So it's exceeding the 15 gallons a minute that they're claiming.
Just have it recycling the water back down into the bucket. I think that's pretty cool. It has a light on it.
Now, as you saw in this test, all we were doing is just recycling the water into the same bucket, so we weren't wasting a bunch of water, but at the same time, I wanted to see how long the battery would run. So if you include the time outside with the big bucket and that thing ran for 28 minutes almost. So when they claim 26 minutes of runtime, it actually exceeded that. Not by much, but it did. That's pretty impressive to me. And that's even with that crappy little battery that I don't like. But the main reason I don't like that battery is not really because it's so small, because actually that's kind of nice if you're just gonna carry it around on a drill or something. But at the same time, what I don't like about it is that there's no button to see how much battery life is left before you have to charge it. And also, there's no rubber on it. It's all just hard plastic. So over time, you drop it and whatever, and it gets cracked and scratched and scuffed, and it's just not good. I want the button on there so I can see when I need to charge it. All right, so I wanted to point something out here that you could really clean this thing out if you wanted to, because this debris filter just pops out. These little clips just squeeze in and you pull them out of that slot, and there's a screen under here that could get clogged. You could just wash that off if you wanted to. You could take these Allen screws out and wash it from the other side, really get it really good and clean. I'll show you what I actually plan to do. So when I was at the dollar store, I bought this mesh bucket because I figured I could just stick the pump in here and this mesh will act as like a pre-screen, and then I can just hose it out from the inside. It'll just wash it off pretty easily, and then I don't have to tear anything apart. You could also use just some kind of copper mesh or an old window screen or any really kind of mesh or anything that'll keep some of that debris from going through, and then you won't have to clean this thing as often. So overall, I'm pretty impressed with this thing. It outperformed both in speed and runtime, and there's actually quite a bit of room here for a bigger battery. So you could actually run for a lot longer if you put a bigger battery in this thing. This thing pumped about 476 gallons on one of those little 2 amp hour batteries. So imagine if you had a big 8 amp hour battery, that's 4 times the size. I mean, you would be approaching 2,000 gallons. I'm just honestly pretty surprised about that. So overall, I would definitely say that I recommend this thing. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comments. I'd love to talk to you down there. If you're interested, please subscribe. Thank you so much for being here and watching the video. I appreciate it, and I'll see you next time. Oh, there goes some water. Clean up another 12. Oh boy.